Hello and welcome to the Mike Less Farmhand Mike YouTube channel, bringing you some of the biggest and best variety and definitely the most versatile farming content on social media today. You can find me on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook at Farmhand Mike. In today's video, I am out at Martig Farms Inc. near Beloit, Ohio, as they are chopping corn silage for their dairy herd and emptying their manure lagoon. Martig Farms milks about 1,200 Holstein cows, and this is also home of Birds Love 'Em Birdseed Company, where they make several different blends of bird feed, including some pigeon feed, some poultry blends, and also a wildlife blend. In this video, however, I will just be concentrating on them chopping corn silage and emptying the manure lagoon. I hope to get back here another time and do a video on their birdseed company, but until then, you can check them out at birdsloveem.com. Beloit, Ohio is located in the southwestern part of Mahoning County, Ohio, and has a population of just under 1,000 people. As I do the flyover here, you can see the Martig Farms Incorporated is a beautiful family farm here in this part of the state. But we're going to head out to the field now and watch them chop corn silage with their Koss Jaguar 970 self-propelled forage harvester, a fleet of semis hauling the corn silage from the field back to the farm, and we'll spend some time at the silage pile as they push and pack that. Later on in the video, we'll head out to another field where they are injecting cow manure into the ground for next year's fertilizer. We'll now head back to the farm and see what's going on at the silage pile. First up is their four-wheel drive John Deere 9630 tractor and silage blade pushing silage. Also, you'll see a John Deere 7930 that the farm has with weights on it going back and forth, and a John Deere 7810 tractor with a 3-point hitch Agromatic silage packer on the back. On average, this farm chops over 25,000 tons of corn silage each year. I've done quite a few corn silage videos over the years here on my YouTube channel, and sometimes I just assume everybody watching my videos comes from a farm background and understands everything that's going on, but I do get a question quite a bit on my corn silage videos why some farms chop corn for silage or run a combine just for the grain. Well, two totally different machines here. So for the corn silage, that is chopping the whole plant, and you use a self-propelled forage harvester like you see here in the video. When they're running the combine, that is just for the grain, and that grain can be used for things like animal feed, ethanol, and other products. So pretty much just your cattle operations and stuff chop the whole plant for silage like you're seeing here. Now, there are some guys that put a corn head on like that goes on a combine and put that on a forage harvester and do what they call high moisture ear corn silage, earlage, snaplage, stuff like that. I do have a video coming of two different choppers with corn heads from a combine on it doing the earlage or high moisture corn. That video will be coming in the future too, but I hope that kind of sorts it out, and those of you that have asked that question before explains it a little better. And the key to putting up good corn silage is when they bring it here on the pile like this, they push it and they have to pack it. And you want this packed really good. You want to push all that air out, and corn silage needs to set for a minimum of probably 30 to 45 days before it is fed for the best feed value. Let it ferment properly, all that. But once they get the silage pile complete and packed down where they want it and everything, most farms will cover it with a tarp and put the tires on for weight so the wind doesn't blow off, and then they'll feed it throughout the next year to their cattle herd. Now, there is a sheep farm fairly close to my house, and I know they chop and feed some corn silage to their sheep, but I think it's safe to say the majority of the corn silage is used to feed cattle. And of course, corn that is being chopped for silage is chopped when the corn's greener for the best feed value. If this corn was going to be combined for grain, obviously the plant would be dried down, it'd be yellow, and the grain would be much drier as well, so it would store and keep. Many years ago, when guys would chop corn silage, they would cut it as absolute fine as possible and sometimes even put a recutter screen in the chopper. Later on, choppers come out with a crop processor or a roller mill inside them, and the reason for that is when corn silage was chopped, a lot of times a whole kernel would actually go through the chopper, and if a cow would eat that, a lot of that kernel would not digest properly and it would just come out the other end, so they'd get no value out of it. Well, since they started putting the roller mills or the crop pressers in the chopper, that smashes that kernel, breaks it down. It also breaks the cob up, so that gets into the cow's ration and so forth. And they can run a longer length of cut on the plant, which is actually better for the cow's digestive system. Now, there's a lot going on in this video. I got lots of great drone and on-the-ground shots of them chopping back at the silage pile, and you'll see them hauling the manure at the end of the video. I even got a few shots from inside the milking parlor. I hope to get back to this farm for other videos in the future, but for now, we got a pretty lengthy video here, and thanks to Martig Farms Incorporated for having me out. And you can see their main farm in the background there. That is where they are hauling the corn silage to. Most dairy farms or cattle farms will use their closest fields and use those for silage due to the amount of loads and tonnage and so forth, and save their farther away cornfields or the ones they use for the combine to harvest for grain. Not always, but usually that's how it works. And in another field just a few miles away from the farm, they are hauling the liquid manure from the dairy lagoon out here from the farm to the field, putting it in this frac tank using trucks, and then out here on the frac tank is their two-wheel drive John Deere 8100 tractor running the PTO and hauling the manure away from the frac tank to the field and injecting it. They are using their Challenger 1042 tractor pulling a Nunn 7350 triaxle tanker. Having a frac tank out in the field like this allows the trucks just to haul the liquid manure from the farm out to the field, and they're not getting any mud or manure on the roads like the tractor staying here in the field, so he's got dirty tires, and anyways, the blacktop stays clean. The PTO is running on the frac tank all the time with the John Deere 8100 tractor. He will pull this tractor and tanker right underneath the spout. He can fill up with remote control. Once the tanker's full, he comes out here, he injects a load into the ground, and goes back for another. It's just a pretty slick way of doing it. I believe they told me this field here had winter wheat on it, so this field's been sitting here since July. I think they ran their vertical till disc over it prior to injecting the manure here, and this field will most likely be planted into corn next spring. That's going to wrap up this video. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Feel free to hit that like button and comment below. If you're new to my YouTube channel, please go down there and hit that subscribe button. And if you want to see more of what I'm doing, you can also find me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at Farmhand Mike. As always, thanks for watching, and check back often. I still have a bunch of farming content to get edited and upload here to YouTube.